Alrighty, music fans, welcome back. It is Dave, the Real Music Observer, observing real music in real time for real people just like you right there. And yours truly right here. Guns N' Roses, they're on tour with Greta Van Fleet. And let me cut to the chase. Holy crap, Batman. Guns N' Roses are being annihilated by Greta Van Fleet on this tour, or at least what I saw in Berlin. Now, I'm not sure if GVF, as I'm going to call them, if they are actually going to be on this tour. I didn't check to see if there are more tour dates with Greta Van Fleet and Guns N' Roses. I'll tell you what, if you're doing publicity for GNR, another abbreviation there, yeah, don't bring this band on there. You just don't do it, because they're the future of rock and roll, if there's going to be a future of rock and roll. I said it in another video. I know of no other band on the horizon. The reason I say that is because the mainstream rock charts last year, they embraced Greta Van Fleet. I'm not sure why. I don't quite understand it, because I'm sure there are other great rock and roll bands that, you know, I know these guys sound a tad like Zeppelin, but it's not, there's something else going on there. And maybe that was a signal to the world that melody and musicianship and singing and all of the things that have been missing for now over 25 years, or about 25 years or so, from this industry, at least the stuff that they promote, because there have been tons of bands who can do this stuff. That was maybe a signal that they're ready to surrender. And Greta Van Fleet is going to be the vehicle, I think, that this revival, if it's going to happen, I think they're going to be that vehicle to really initiate a floodgate of real music to come back. Now, I'm not holding my breath on that, but that's kind of like a prediction. So if it comes true, great. If it doesn't, you can come back to me and say, hey, but listen to this band and tell me that they don't have that kind of talent, because they do. On the other end of the spectrum, you had Guns N' Roses, who I was watching Sweet Child of Mine, and I'll tell you what, Angus, buddy, I think you need to look for someone else to hold up that AC/DC legacy, because I don't think it should be Axl Rose. Vocally, his phrasing was off. He almost seemed out of breath at times. He was doing that whole throw the microphone out to, and these weren't difficult parts. I think the lyrics, the rapid-fire nature of some of the lyrics in the song, he felt as though it would be better achieved by audience participation, which it kind of did, but if you looked at all the comments on the video, they were saying, vocally, Axl is having some issues. Let's put it that way. Let's try to be fair, because back in the day, nobody could quite sing like Axl. Now, some people didn't like the way Axl sounded either, but I was a fan from Appetite to Use Your Illusion 2. That's my, and most GNR fans, if they're classic rock fans, they didn't go out and purchase the Spaghetti Incident. I think they probably were a little miffed by just the title alone, but as far as the music, things started to go downhill very precipitously for Guns N' Roses. The future of rock, it's definitely Greta Van Fleet, GVF. I was going to call them Greta Van Susteren there, but this is my problem. This is going to be my problem with this group. I wish they had a different name, kind of, but if we do, like I said, if we do GVF, I think it sounds kind of cool, and, you know, bands with like 3 initials, big. That's a big thing, you know? Like Blue Oyster Cult, everybody said BOC, you know? I mean, after a while, you just kind of knew, and I think GVF will probably be the same thing. Look, these guys have an amazing amount of talent. They have a singer who is pretty amazing. Sometimes his high register gets on my nerves a little bit because of the way he sings it, but I'd rather have that level of enthusiasm and excitement in his voice. When he comes down into a lower register, he's like old-time Robert Plant from like the late 60s Robert Plant. There's something in the kid's voice. It's amazing. And the guitar player, he was playing over-the-head guitar. He was doing all this stuff. And these guys seem to be together. You know what I mean? They seem to be on the same page. I'm hoping this isn't like, you know, a flash in the pan where, you know, they break up in a couple of years. There's a lot of pressure on this band. Their full-length album is coming out very soon, and I'll be all over that, talking about it, reviewing it, maybe doing a little promotion if it's good, which I can't see how it's not going to be good. The band says that they really like it, and the other stuff from the EP was great, but if this is to that level or better, these guys could single-handedly save rock and roll. And then a revival will begin, and you will see real rock music without auto-tuning, without, you know, the usual voice that you've been hearing for the last 20 years, with guys that truly do sound like they have marbles in their mouth, as Weird Al once said. So that's it for my video. Yeah, I finally got Weird Al into one of my videos. Don't forget Patreon, just $1 a month, and of course check me out over on Twitter and Facebook. Greta Van Fleet. Learn it, love it. Talk to you soon.